Bro.
Like the shortest intro ever.
It's all right.
Hey, so we're back. It's been a long time and like
Too long.
super long. So like you've been busy, I've been busy, and like you were gone for a while. I was gone for a while at first, and then like I came back, and then you left, and then like, but we still kept in touch because it was just like like you're my bro, man. So like for real.
Yeah.
Like you know how you know when you're somebody's bro is like if they got the password to one of your streaming services.
Yeah, your email. I got your email password, bro.
Yeah, it's like I trust my boy. So man, it's good to be back, and it's good to be here. Not in wrestling persona, just as us.
Yeah, on a Friday, don't gotta work.
Don't gotta work off, yeah, and enjoying it, and I'm seeing some good movies lately. And
Did you see Black Widow? Yes.
Black Widow? No, I haven't seen Black Widow yet.
Okay.
I've seen but I have seen the He-Man stuff, and this is like
I heard He-Man wasn't even in that show.
So long story short, okay, so if you don't know, fuck, it's just a really like okay. So I went into this thing thinking like, okay, I'm getting He-Man, which is I'm getting He-Man, which is this,
Yes.
and
Hey, Bleecker. She-Man. Yeah, Bleecker Street's a She-Man. Uh-huh.
and so I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like, this is what I'm thinking I'm getting is He-Man and like Masters of the Universe from my childhood, the good stuff, and no, man, we're not. It's Here's the revelation, guys. Here's the revelation. Here's spoiler alert, just in case you want to waste your time. The revelation is this is the revelation because he like it's the Tila show, bro. It's Sheila or it's Sheila, She-Man, whatever you want to call it.
She-Ra.
But
we already got that She-Ra.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, they already got She-Ra, so why are they doing this to He-Man? And I'm like, yo, like, can we get?
So can I ask you a question? Because I haven't seen it, and all I've heard is basically what you're telling me. So say that it's not He-Man. Say the name of the show is not He-Man. Say it's not. It's the same character. Say it's the same characters, but it's not. Say this is not a He-Man show at all. It's just some random show. And with the same
that's their excuse right now. That's what they're trying to say.
Would it be worth watching? Like, was it enjoyable? Did you get any ounce of enjoyment out of it?
The animation is good. I'm gonna say that the animation is good. It's worth the animation. It's worth going to go for the story. I'm not gonna complain about the story. I'm not gonna complain about.
But He-Man getting killed off is part of the story. So
yeah, but it's
I think you kind of got to complain about that a little bit.
Yeah, I'm complaining about that because it's like he shouldn't. I mean, like.
Okay, but you got to understand that the point that they were coming from, this motherfucker sitting here telling us this shit is He-Man the whole time. He's like, yeah, this is He-Man. For all you people who thinking this is going to be a bait and switch, you're an idiot. This show is going to be about He-Man. And from what I hear, like, he totally lied about the whole thing.
He did, because, like, shouts out to if you Clownfish TV, which is the people that kind of, like, broke the news or whatever. And, like, the guy was, like, kind of like dumping on them about
right. I think he like read the script early, right? Is what he got a hold of the script early at Clownfish.
Yeah, they got a hold. They knew somebody or something that was inside on the animation tip or whatever, and was saying like, hey, like this is going to be like mainly focusing on like Tila, and like they were like, I hope this is not true, and like so Kevin Smith and like I'm a huge Kevin
Hey,
Smith fan. I love Clerks. I love Jay and Silent Bob. And if you don't believe me, you can go to my Facebook, but I'll show you.
hey, yeah, and I'm, like
So
part of me
when
wonders
when
why
I
he did
say
this.
I'm deeply hurt about the He-Man situation, like, because I am a Jay and Silent Bob, like Kevin Smith fan, and for yeah, the bait and switch, man, it was a bait and switch, and like, dude, I feel like it
He
should have
wears
been like
soft.
it should have been like a way, like it should have been way more on He-Man. I mean, like I could understand, like, okay, they kill him at the beginning, but then like, you know, but like before that even happens, let me get on this.
Get on it.
Adam, Adam. All right, because like when I remember watching He-Man when I was a kid, He-Man and Adam were basically almost the same, except He-Man was stronger. Like he had more strength or whatever. He could do whatever. And so
Yeah,
he was like, his. But
but
they were still like Adam was still smart and he could still like kind of fight or whatever. Do his own. Well, this Adam, nah, bro. This Adam, he needs help. He needs Tila to help him. Tila's got to
yeah.
help him.
Ah, man, that's crazy.
So
Like I don't know, man. Like we live in a society right now, though, like where I don't even know what's going on sometimes. I don't know what Kevin Smith like. Even all the merchandising was aimed at marketing aimed at He-Man. It had Prince Adam's face all over it. You know what I mean? You think
the
you're getting
cereal and stuff has
the
He-Man
cereal
all over it.
box? Yeah, that was a great one. Oh man.
I was like, bro, come on now. And then for them to be like, yeah, using the fanboys' money to hype, because let's be honest, yeah, we were like, I was hyped up for the He-Man thing. I was like, cool, He-Man, and they hadn't had one since like I think 2000, and it was like they did one in 2000, and it was go back and look at that one because
I heard
that
it was
one.
bad.
No, no,
It was
no.
good.
You're talking about the 1991. I'm talking about the one in 2000. Like they made one. They remade it, and like it's not that bad. It's actually pretty good. I'm not. It's oh man, I forgot. It was in 2000 something, but it was pretty good. It was a pretty good episode. So I mean, pretty good series. But man, I'm just like unbelievable how like my kids watched it and they were like, oh, it wasn't that bad, Dad. You're just upset because it ruined your childhood. And I'm like, no, it's just the fact that it's She-Ra or something like that. And it's like, but they've got She-Ra. And I'm like, what are they doing to my stuff?
Did your kids watch it with you?
No, I watched it by myself, and then my kids watched it. And then they came
Did
and
your
told me,
kids like it? Did they like it?
yeah, they liked it. They thought it was all right. But I was just like, but they've watched the old series and they've watched the new one. And
Yeah.
so, and it's just like, I couldn't get down with it, man. And I'm not gonna watch the second part. I'm sorry.
Nah.
I'm not
See,
feeling it.
here's the thing: is now with the second part, they're gonna go back and try to fix their mistakes and try to make it, and so they can be like, "See, look, you guys criticized me, and this is where I was going the whole time." You know what I mean, or something stupid like that. They're gonna bring Adam back. Yeah, nah, like I don't know. It is what it is.
I'm not going for it.
I don't know if I'll ever watch it. It's cool. Like I was never the hugest He-Man fan. Like He-Man was like not maybe a generation, but a few years right before me. You know what I mean? I came in right at the tail end of like He-Man, Transformers, and all that stuff.
But I'm just saying, like, all right, so I went in thinking like I'm gonna get like adventures with He-Man. He's gonna be riding Battle Cat. Foiling Skeletor. Messing up his plans.
And you did
all the classic stuff that I was waiting for. I'm waiting for that to happen, and like it starts off like like something's popping off, and it starts off like okay, it looks good, and it looks great. No, and shouts out to the animation people. They did the work on the Castlevania series too, and like that stuff's good too.
Okay, so side note, Castlevania, I really liked the first two series of Castlevania. The third one got a little way crazy.
So this is like some of like the animation that they do.
Animation. I watched the trailer for this. The trailer looked good.
Yeah, and it's actually good. It's actually good, but it's like they just I don't know, man. It's like
So
there's
Cookie.
so many elements to it. It's just like they try to put so many agendas in it. And I'm like, dude, I just want a show about a guy that's supposed to be the strongest in the universe whooping some guy that's trying to take advantage of a chick in a castle. That's all I
Thanks,
wanted.
bro. Good to see you. Yeah. Okay. So how does he? Doesn't he turn into like He-Man? He like grabs a sword, right? Doesn't he say something like, "With all my powers combined, I am
No, he's
He-Man"?
like, by the powers of Grayskull, I have the
Oh, by
power.
the power. Yeah,
Well,
that's what it is. I
well,
have the power.
fast forward now. Now check this out. Now in the show now they're saying that it's a mantle and it's been passed down, and so with that leaving it open, it means it can be passed down to anybody. Like, hey, anybody can get the mantle now. So we're all thinking like, hey, they're not going to do that, are they? And we're like, hey, nah, they're playing right. So we're not hoping that we're going to see
So
Sheila, or Shira, or I don't know, man. The revelation is this: you're gonna get Tila, and you're gonna get Evil Lynn. He-Man's under the ground. And Skeletor's in power right now. So this is the show right now, guys. So live it
right,
up.
but okay. So from what I hear though, like Tila freaking starts the whole thing, like because she gets all butthurt that she didn't know Adam was He-Man, but like
Yeah.
nobody.
Oh man.
First off, nobody knew that he was He-Man, right?
Like,
And then his parents die, or no, he died, and
he
she gets
died.
mad at his parents, right?
Yeah,
She's
like she gets mad because the mom knew. The mom knew. Man at Arms knew, and then like they all, like, and Orko knew and Cringer, but like the whole thing was Tila was like the only one in the shadows or whatever that didn't know, and he didn't want to let her know until he wanted to tell her or whatever on his own time. But
right.
the whole thing was when he died, and right before he dies, she sees him transform back to Adam, and then like all of a sudden she's like, "Oh snap! This whole time, I've been in love with Adam or whatever, and so." From there, it goes from she, and mind you, they get back from the battle, fresh off the battle, bro, fresh off the fight, and the mom ain't had time to console, and the dad didn't know, that he was He-Man, but the mom knew, so he's telling, Man at Arms, get the hell out of my kingdom, because he finds out that Adam's He-Man, and he's pissed off, so he's like, Man at Arms, get the hell out of here before I have you killed. And I'm like, bro, this dude's been holding you down for years, and you just like, I'm off with your head. That's your home. He been your dog for this long, and you just got to throw him to the curb, man. And so I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, so there's no loyalty right there, but that's kind of weird because I remember the old series, him and Man at Arms used to throw down and help out,
Yeah,
And
no,
I'm
I
like,
remember. I remember the old show. Like I
and,
went back and watched it.
and so then I'm like, that threw me off. And then I was like, okay, well then Tila pops off, and like the mom's trying to cry and grieve, and Tila pops off like, you know, forget all of you, because you lied and you lied, and nobody cared about my feelings. And I'm like,
Bleecker Street, he says, is just garbage writing. Which, like, here's the thing about He-Man. Like, if He-Man it's not about it was never about the story.
It was just about buying toys.
It was about buying toys. It was about this jacked up looking dude who would go out and he would kick some ass, and that shit was cool.
Yeah.
And I think maybe they tried to put too much writing into it, and just, I mean, like I said, I haven't seen it, so I can't say a whole lot other than that from what I hear. But
like I watched it. I'm just saying I'm not going to watch the.
What platform is it on?
Netflix. It's on Netflix. You can't find it. You have to look. You have to physically look it up because it's really? They buried it. It's like it's buried in their stuff.
Yeah, Cookie says there's going to be a part 2, and
yeah.
I'm sure that I don't know. I don't know. Like, you think Kevin Smith they'll let him touch part 2? I mean, what if they fire him?
I don't know, man. To me, it's like a deal where it's like, okay, well, it could have went a lot better than what it did, but
Yeah. That's a shame. That's a bummer. Like, thanks for being here, bud.
Hey, thanks for coming, man.
But yeah, everybody was so hyped up, and I feel like everybody, maybe not everybody, because there are some people I feel like who have enjoyed it, and obviously there are. Cookie liked it, which is good. That's good. But like I hear a lot of people who were let down by it. And that's kind of
Oh, he said part 2 is about Evil Lynn. Oh, like
I did hear that. Isn't there like some love triangle? Like it's gonna be a love triangle between Tila, her, I guess
I don't know.
her bestie. Do you know her bestie in the show?
Like,
And then Evil Lynn or something like that is like some love
well, it's
triangle
like
between the
it's
two
the
of them.
three of them traveling. It's the three of them they were traveling, and it was like her friend, and Evil Lynn were traveling, trying to get the two swords to put them back together to make the power sword. So I don't know, man. It's a and like any guy that was in like any dude in the show, man, was like off or either background. I don't know, man. So it was just like a weird deal.
That's
So
crazy.
oh, let me let my dogs in because they're outside. But the whole thing with me was like they should have just had like the formula. It's like why do they have formulas for things and they just like don't stick to them? It's like when they have like
That's like you said. That's his forced agenda, man. You know what I'm saying? They try to force it on you whether you want it or not. And yeah, part of that's us aging. I feel like too because it sounds like maybe some younger people who don't know a whole lot about He-Man enjoy it. Yeah, big lesbian love fest. Great. Just what I don't want to see. Oh, man. Yeah, so I probably, I don't know. If I had Netflix, I'm not sure if I would have watched it by now or not. There's probably a good chance I would have checked it out.
I thought you had Netflix. I thought you had my Netflix.
Nah, is that, oh, I got HBO Max.
This is what.
Unless it's the same, it might be. I got Disney Plus, but
Oh, everybody should have Disney Plus. Yeah. So
good.
speaking of HBO Max, we were talking
Hey,
about the Suicide Squad. So,
man. Okay, where do you want to start with Suicide Squad?
so, all right, man. So look, you got so. This
You
is
want
the
to start with
10th.
negatives? Let's start with the negative. Did you have any negatives about the movie?
Negatives.
I had a couple, nothing major, but just a few.
What were your negatives on it, man? Because I'd like to hear this.
So this is probably just a personal thing because
Bleecker Street, big lesbian love fest.
This is probably just a personal thing, because like aesthetically, I felt like it wasn't pleasing, but it was that freaking helmet John Cena was wearing. Like I get it, it's part of the character and the costume and the suit, but for me trying to picture this happening now, like why would some guy be walking around with like a toilet bowl on his head? So
well, I'm gonna say this, like I'm gonna say this about the whole James Gunn. He pulled off the like he did what he did for Batista. He just did for John Cena.
No, you know what? He did because I really enjoyed John Cena in this movie. And
I did too.
It's the first movie that I've actually was like, okay, John Cena, you kind of handle business here.
So to me, to me, it was like one of those ones where it was like John Cena in this like literally in this role, like I give him props. Like I am interested in to see the TV show that they have planned for him now because I enjoyed the character of the Peacemaker. So I will not be surprised if this book right here, if you can't get that one, if this book right here doesn't do a little something.
I was a little bummed. I was a little bummed they killed him off.
Oh no, you didn't watch to the end, did you?
I did.
Spoilers, no spoilers.
Oh man, dude, this is all spoilers. Sorry, guys.
It's all spoilers, man. I'm sorry because like we just ruined it. Because if you don't want to hear anything about this show, if you haven't seen it, don't watch us because we're gonna talk about it. Because like I enjoyed I
enjoyed the hell out of this movie. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not probably gonna win any awards.
My negative
Best picture.
My negative.
But it was fun as hell. Yeah, let's hear it.
I had one negative, and I don't care. This is not a spoiler because this happens in the first. I don't know. I don't even care if it's a spoiler or not. It's not really a spoiler because it ticks me off because it was the only thing that ticked me off about the movie was they killed my boy off, and I was like,
which boy?
I'll just say he made it through the first one, and he didn't. I was mad. So if you're looking on the chart, the people from the first one was her, him, and him. So
who?
these
Boomerang,
Flag, and her were in the first movie, and,
yeah,
and made it through or whatever. So they killed one of these, and it ticked me off. And
they killed a lot of these.
And I was just like, it ticked me off.
Okay, another negative was, there's a scene where they're going to save Harley Quinn. She already got freed, but they're going to save her, and they're like sitting there and bloodshot.
Oh, they had that whole thing like worked all out.
Yeah, and he shoots that thing up there, and Idris Elba starts climbing up the wall, and he can barely make it. He's like barely moving. He's like struggling. I'm like, come on, guys, this is a superhero. He should be jumping back and forth off of these things, I felt like.
Oh, man.
King Shark. Hey, did they ever refer to him as King Shark in the movie?
They kept calling him Narwhal.
Is that what they were calling him? I couldn't figure. I felt like they were calling him different things every time they talked.
Yeah, they was like, they kept calling him like Narwhal, and not a Narwhal, but Nar something. And then and I was just like, what the heck? I was like, they said King Shark a couple of times. But it was just like, I don't know. But
I was shocked. I did not know who was voicing King Shark.
But to me, the guy that stole the show for me was
Sebastian.
No. I'm gonna have to say. I was gonna say John Cena stole the show. Well, John Cena and Idris Elba stole the show for me. But then, I like the Polka Dot Man too. I like the Polka Dot.
He was good. He was really. I really liked what they did with him. I don't. Okay, so in case you're watching, you're new. I've been gone for a while. I'm not the biggest DC fan. Not the biggest Batman fan. Not that I hate him, but I just don't read it very much. I got a lot going on, and DC's not really on my radar.
We don't have an open chat every Friday. We just pop up every once in a while and just hang out and talk. Dan, we don't really have a set time or anything.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know a whole lot about a lot of these characters, but I really liked the ones that survived the first island scene. I was taken aback when that happened at the island and everybody was dying and all that stuff.
Man,
that was nuts.
I give it to James Gunn. I give it to James Gunn. That was the way to start the movie, and it threw me off. It threw me off because I was like, it totally threw me off because I was like, what? I'm like, what's going? It was good. I enjoyed it. So
I should have probably Googled it, but the Rat Queen freaking rocked. By the end of the movie, I totally had a crush on her or whoever she is.
So I'm gonna say this: that they officially have made her their Squirrel Girl. Their official, popularity wise, she's gonna be popular now because that chick. Yeah,
I thought if you did, I don't know. She's a real character.
Yeah. She's
so if I would assume that if you don't have her first appearance, that would probably be a good one to go check out.
Yeah, I'd go look for that one.
Her and that rat Sebastian, I love that. Every time he meets somebody, he's trying to shake their hands and they're turning him down. And finally they're at the club. And John Cena gives him the shot. And he's like, yeah, he's drinking.
I give shots out to that, and then Milton.
Oh, Milton! No, when did you and Milton have a thing? And then he started talking about it. Then freaking Harley Quinn calls Bloodsport Milton. He's like, Milton's not my name. She's like, yes it is. We just had this argument 3 hours.
Yeah. So it was actually a great movie. I enjoyed it.
It was. I mean, okay. So if I've been thinking what to compare it to. I really think that it's really comparable to the Expendables movies, something like that, with a lot of big stars in it and a lot of action and just a really good time.
Good story.
It is. It's probably not going to win any awards for anything, but it's one of those you're going to go. I had a funner time. I like Black Widow, but I had a funner time with this movie. I enjoyed every second of it.
To me, it was a step in the right direction for any DC movie forward. So they had it rolling with Wonder Woman, then they kind of stumbled, then they got Aquaman, and then they stumbled again, then they had Shazam, and then they it's
I think it's the best movie that DC's put out since probably Kevin Nolan's Dark Knight with the Joker. It's a Dark Knight, right? I think it's probably the best DC movie since then. I feel like Shazam was pretty good, but I think I like this one better than that.
I do too. I
Aquaman was
like.
good, but I think this had a little
I like this one
little more
better. I actually
fun.
like this one better than Aquaman for some reason. I don't
Yeah,
know why. But.
this is like a summer blockbuster, one of those kinds of movies. I mean, freaking John Cena comes walking out in the forest when King Shark's getting ready to eat the Rat Queen. He's in his freaking tighty whities and he's got a 45 Magnum in his underwear. I was like, what is going on here? Like, come on now, we know that ain't right. But
This is it's a hilariously good time. So if you haven't seen it, go see it. I enjoyed it, and Jeffrey enjoyed it. So we're gonna talk about some wrestling real quick because if you didn't know, like you should know, like WWE's been letting a lot of people go. Daniel Bryan jumped ship, and supposedly he has signed with AEW, and there's speculation that CM Punk is going to show up in Chicago. So, as a fan, oh, you said the darker nature. I don't know, man.
Well, at the end, man, that whole fight scene between him and Captain Flag was pretty dark.
Yeah, it was.
They're like, fighting just over the proof that America was in on that thing, and like they're on the same side. They're supposed to be on the same side, and he just whoosh. And we didn't even talk about the bad guy. I don't know about like if anybody like I did not know that. I did not see that coming. Like a freaking starfish.
Yeah, so it was pretty good. Like all the way around, I enjoyed it.
You gotta check it out, guys. Yeah, I mean,
I'm ready to see the Peacemaker TV show. I'm ready to see what John Cena's got to offer as for like going forward with this character. But like I said, we got speculations. Well, they said I guess it's confirmed. I don't know, so who knows? But
I think the Daniel Bryan signing is huge for AEW.
I just think it's gonna be cool time in wrestling because like I like wrestling and like for just great matches, man. That's what like I grew up watching was just great matches, and people don't realize what that is anymore. So it's like,
and I think a lot of the great part about Daniel Bryan signing with AEW is he's going to be able to work internationally as well. This will allow him to go to like New Japan and work with New Japan, and you're going to get some of the best. That's where you're going to get that's where you're going to get some of the best matches from is Daniel Bryan and some of the guys in New Japan. CM Punk, okay, that's huge for the wrestling industry because there's a lot of people that really love CM Punk.
Want to see him come back. Yeah,
I'm not the hugest CM Punk fan. I never was. Like I was actually okay with him being gone. You know what I'm saying? So
like, the 90s was when you should have been watching, Dan. That was the best time was the Attitude Era. It was like awesome. And then like the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era was good, and then like it just kind of fell off. And then like right now it's in a state where it's like they're trying to hey, what's up, Tune? They're trying to fix it, but it's like right now it's like I don't know, and that's why I think these two will be the shot in the system, that we need literally to coin the phrase from CM Punk.
I definitely think AEW is taking a step in progressing the sport.
And I just like go back and watch these two wrestle, man. Anytime that these two wrestle, it was like a classic, So even if they don't wrestle each other or they wrestle they elevate people, man. Those two elevate people when they get them in the ring. Like they take them to go look at him, CM Punk wrestling John Cena. He's carrying John Cena because I'm sorry, man. John Cena's got 5 moves, bro. 5 moves of doom. That's it. It's like,
and we saw them all.
So he had more moves in Suicide Squad than he did in
That's what I was gonna say. We saw all 5 of his moves in the Suicide Squad, man.
I'm just saying, he literally had more moves in Suicide Squad than he does in wrestling. Because I'll tell you, to see that he is out there, trying to be like, and I'm gonna give it to him now because like I have to give it to him now. With this movie, he's probably pretty much done it. I mean, they might have said with Fast. I don't know. I think they said he ruined Fast, or they said something about him.
Well, I don't know. I think a lot of that might have been political.
I don't know, but anyway, I didn't see Fast 9 because I quit watching them after like I lost count because I've seen most of them all, and it's just like I got kind of bored after that. Pretty much after Paul Walker died, I quit watching them. Like it was just
it's the same thing. Every movie's the same thing. Still something with some fast cars. It's good like summertime action kind of flicks. But there's
what's funny is like my sons have seen them all, and like and they well they hadn't seen the early ones, but they'd seen like all the newer ones, and so
Uh-huh.
I came in the living room one time and my son had on the first one and I was like, oh, I had a flashback. I was like, hey, and I was like, what you doing watching this one? He was like, I had never seen it before. I was like, really? He's like, well, I mean, I just want to see how it started off with them just racing, and I was like, I was just kind of like laughed. I was like, oh wow, they must do. I was like, well, so what do you mean? He was like, well, they do all kinds of crazy stuff in the new ones, and I was like, and he was like, they just started out racing, right? And I was like, yeah, it was just all racing. So we watched the first one, right, and it's just basically just racing, racing and like guns and like a little bit of action. And so my son was like, no real big stunts, huh? And I was like, no, son, no, it was just racing. It was street racing. That's what it was.
Well, the
And
second
so,
one was Tokyo Drift, I think, right?
well, in chronological order, but the second one was whatchamacallit, Fast and Furious 2,
Oh, okay.
which I enjoyed the hell out of, which was one of my favorite ones. And so
I kind
we're
of like
watching.
Tokyo Drift. It was,
So we're
I
watching the
kinda
second one. So we watched the second one, right? Because he wanted to watch it, the first one. Then he's starting to watch the second one. So he's watching the second one, right? And he's like, still racing. They do a couple of little stunts, between the trucks or whatever. And then he's like, we're watching and we're watching, and that part where he jumps the car onto the boat, he's like, there it is. There's the first big stunt. And I was like, I started laughing. I was like, son, I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I just want to know when did they start doing the big stunts where they were start doing ridiculous stuff. And he said in Fast and the Furious 2, when he jumps the car from the dock to the boat, he said that's the first time he's seen the first big stupid stunt. Like, and I was like, okay, so that was to me hilarious. But John Cena
held his
is
own.
gonna.
Hell, he did. He
He
did.
did. He did. I give him that. I give him props on that. So I put him in the category of like. So maybe that proves something. Like if you're a good wrestler and you got good promos and you do your character good, that maybe you're just a good actor all the way around.
Well, I was going to say he definitely put himself in the closer to The Rock as opposed to like Triple H or Kane, and their
Oh yeah. Like their stuff.
Daddy
Their
Daycare
stuff.
Triple H movie
Yeah,
or
their
whatever.
stuff wasn't really as good. Like
And Hulk Hogan wasn't a good actor in any of his
No.
stuff either. Really, I think John Cena's still got a ways to go before he gets to maybe like The Rock or something. But he's definitely, I think, put himself on that
Well,
you're going to see him around for a while now.
Well, if you look at the Rock's movie, like all right, the Rock's movie globally, that the Jungle, whatever it is, the Jungle.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
I hadn't watched it either,
it's
but
on Premiere Access still.
It's what is it like? It's like 93 or 95 million worldwide or whatever, and that's like the highest grossing movie right now. And so, and it beat out Fast 9, which was John Cena in that, and beat out like what is it, the Widow, Black Widow, and some other stuff. So, literally, it's actually, for him, he's star caliber. He's like, hey, I'm holding it down still. Hey, people are still coming. So I'm waiting to see what's going to happen when he drops, Black Adam. I'm just waiting to see when he drops Black Adam. I'm waiting on that. I'm so excited for that.
That's going to be good. I hope it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm. But so I've been watching a lot of independent wrestling, and I've been watching a lot of a lot of wrestling now is like
YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
I watch what is it?
You can watch MLW. You can watch AEW Dark. You can watch
Luscious Lawrence. You watch one with Luscious Lawrence? Which one is that? Is that Midwest Wrestling or Chicago Wrestling or something like that?
They've got a lot of them, dude. It's hilarious. I just crack up. And then there's the one Teddy Long's the general manager up in Texas. There's one in Texas. I forget the name of that one, and I watch it all the time.
Yeah.
And Teddy Long is the general manager. Mark Henry was down there recently, and Booker T has Reality of Wrestling in Houston. So there's wrestling around, but it's just like I kind of wish there were still territories because I love WWE, but I wish if there were still territories, man. If you go back and listen to the stories these guys tell, it's hilarious, man. They would drive from place to place, getting drunk, driving there, doing drugs or whatever on the way there to stay up or whatever, and these are guys that were everyday dudes, like, hey, I'm gonna start pro wrestling, and they started up, and then like they get in, and like this is back when like some of it was real, some of it was real because like they actually had, like they'd actually, that's where they got the term, potato and receipt, which was if you caught and if you know what I'm talking about, a potato is like when you
expect a receipt.
Yeah, you accidentally punch somebody for real, or like you accidentally slip and hurt them, or whatever. And a receipt is like, hey, I get my receipt on your ass, I'm gonna get you back.
Payback.
So I get you
yeah,
back.
it's like
Payback.
Bam.
So if for those terms to be in wrestling, that means some of it had to have been real at one point in time. So.
Oh man. Well, like originally it did start like at carnivals with strongmen, and they would try to just keep these guys like from I don't know, or do something for like 30 seconds, and then if the fan got in there and beat the guy or something, then he'd get $100 or something, like $1 or whatever the tie-in. But yeah, so it started out as like a real thing, and then it kind of turned into like the work and shoot where like the fan was fake, and it was a fixed deal and all this stuff. But
Christina Wagner said that the Jungle Cruise was really good. She took her girl to see it. So
I love the ride at Disneyland. So I'm actually like I went to look at it for the movie, but it's still on Premier Access. I'm not paying extra.
Like, is that the one where you like ride on the boat through the water?
Yeah,
like the hippo and the alley
that comes up.
Oh, so yeah, I've been on that. Yeah, okay.
It's cool. Yeah, it's like one of those relaxing cruises and stuff like that.
I've actually rode that. I can actually see it because I've been to California like one time when I was younger, and we went to Disneyland. It's Disneyland, right? Because Disney World is in Florida. So Disneyland, bam. So you know your stuff, people. So Disneyland, that's where we went, and I remember the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I remember seeing the beach and all that stuff, and we went, and I remember because the hippo thing came up, and I was like, what the, and I was a little kid, I was like, what the is.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good if you don't know anything about wrestling, Kachun. Like, where I literally had 6 uncles, man, and they all watched wrestling. We lived in Midwest of the United States, which was where I live. There was a wrestler that had his own promotion called Mid-South Wrestling, and his name was Bill Watts, and he promoted wrestling in the states of Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas. So this is like was at one point in time was a big wrestling area before WWF crushed it all down. So like my uncles were always big into wrestling because they grew up watching wrestling around here. So it was kind of like a and they put it all like so. As a kid growing up, I had 6 uncles, and like they'd always be watching wrestling. So I knew nothing but wrestling and comics and and stuff that any kid growing up like back then would know. So that was it. I had a good time. So
I'm in Fresno, California, Dan. So yeah, not too far away on the spectrum of the country. So yeah, man, wrestling for me, started like Saturday mornings. I'd wake up and it would be on. There'd be like an hour-long show about wrestling. I thought that was cool. I could tell you it's probably like Early Heart Foundation, the Road Warriors, Ultimate Warriors, that era. That was when I first started watching. I had to be
the golden age.
Old. Yeah. It was probably like 80, 89, 90-ish, and I'm sitting there watching it. That was before WCW. I knew all that stuff. It was probably Saturday Morning Slam Masters or something like that. It was cool, man. Like, I thought it was real, at the time you think it's real. And that's as a kid, I think that's the best part about it. And then when you get older, you just, like, you've grown so accustomed, like, to the characters. You just, you love your characters and watch for that.
That's why, The Rock's one of my favorite characters. I like Stone Cold. And what's funny is like, there's a, and I'll give a little wrestling knowledge because around here, and he was in WWE too at one point in time, but they kind of like erased him out of WWE. But around here, there was a guy named Brickhouse Brown.
And he was,
but wait. He had help training The Rock. He had help. And he was big down here. And like Stone Cold is from Texas. Booker T is from Texas. All these guys are from Texas. And like, if you go back and watch some of this guy's promos and stuff, you'll see Stone Cold. You'll see Booker T. You'll see The Rock. You'll see where they get some of it from. This guy was like an original, like a promo master, man. And I give him props because I was like, like as a kid, I used to watch him. And his name's Brickhouse Brown. And like he used to be in WWE for like maybe like a year. I don't even know, like not even that long, but like he was there. And like, yeah, he go watch some of his interviews because he tells a story of him taking Cactus Jack, aka Mick Foley, aka Unkind, to get a, let's say a BJ. And this is true stories, and I'm like, what? This guy's this, and that's why I like stuff like like these guys, these old wrestlers that tell these true stories. It's like,
well, I just heard this one. I don't know if it's a popular one. You probably heard it too, if it is. But it was Papa Shango, Godfather, him and The Rock riding together, and The Rock would go everywhere. And, Papa Shango, he says he's smoking weed all the time, right? The Rock, he's going everywhere, and everybody's like, "You smoke weed?" He's like, "Nah, The Rock doesn't smoke weed." He's like, "You smell like weed." He's like, "Nah, The Rock doesn't smell like weed."
Yeah, because he does.
He couldn't smell it because he'd been riding with Papa Shango
the whole time.
and
he's immune to it.
Yeah, but he really was just reeking like weed everywhere he went for riding with this guy. Didn't even know it. So he had to go tell him, The Rock can't ride with you anymore because you make people think The Rock smoked weed. That was hilarious.
He should have just told him, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Man, so, and don't forget to check out Who That's Auction because it's going on right now. Should be.
Yes, I believe it starts in 1 minute according to YouTube. Yeah,
so be sure to check out Who That's Auction. He'll be selling some good books tonight.
He's always got the best books.
Oh yeah. See, gotta get my buddy some advertisement in here.
Hell yeah. Let's see.
And
let's
see. It started?
Let's see. I don't know. I'm gonna find it right. All right, here we go.
So, yeah, guys, we're gonna shut it down here in a minute because I gotta go cook.
Oh yeah.
I'm hungry.
There you go. That's fair. The auction, Who Das auction guy coming up right there. Just put the link in the chat.
So we enjoyed the Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
excellent movie.
Yeah, I'm between probably like an 8 on it, 7.5, 8, 7.75 to 8 on it. Like I said, it's not gonna win any awards, but you're gonna have a hell of a fun time watching it.
Yeah, out of 10, I give it a 9. Like,
yeah. It's good. I mean, I'm just saying, if I was going to rate Black Widow, I'm saying I'm giving Black Widow a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10. It was a decent movie, nothing great, nothing special, but it wasn't a bad movie. And then Suicide Squad, man, I just had a hell of a fun time. It was good. It's good.
And for y'all that haven't seen it or want to see it or gonna see it, this is not what you're gonna get. You're not gonna get any of this. You're not gonna get any good He-Man action, but you will get the revelation of this. You will get the Tila action.
It's more like a revolution.
Yeah,
revolution.
You're gonna get some Tila action. So check that out for yourself. If you want to, you get Tila, Evil Lynn, and Tila's homegirl, and no He-Man, and just whatever you want to do. So I don't even know, man. So Jeffrey, it's been great to have you on here, man. It's
always good to see you, man.
Great to talk with you.
Yeah.
But I will say this, man. I'm probably gonna watch Suicide Squad again. I think I'm gonna go watch that again.
You're not doing anything bad there.
Nope. Well, this has been Bro Talk. We're out of here.
Later, guys.
Bro.